I'm curious, like, you've been to all these, you've been to the places where hyperinflation is real and money is useless and has no value. What are the greatest use cases for Bitcoin on the ground in places like that people who listen to this or are here may just be completely off their radar or oblivious to?
It's a great question. So one of the reasons I do customer support, at least like every week, I'm actually on Paxful. Like, listen, I'm looking for those people that will type Bitcoin into a search engine for the very first time. And they come to us and they're like, you can tell because they have no idea what's going on. They're like, hi, what is Bitcoin? How do I get Bitcoin? What can I do with the Bitcoin? Right? And I want to know what made them type Bitcoin into that search engine. So I asked them, and a lot of them in Venezuela especially, it's wealth preservation. Someone just got paid. Like one lady was like, I just got paid today. And I know that, by the time they get paid next time, this money will be worth half as much. So you have to spend it all immediately before it comes in. She wanted, is there anything else I can do? What is this Bitcoin thing? If I buy it, I just hold on to it. I can't spend it. I can't buy diapers and milk for my baby next week. I'm like, no, you can get the Bitcoin. You can hold on to it. It is volatile, yes. However, when you need Venezuelan Bolivar, you can just sell a little bit of that Bitcoin and you can get the cash. And when you tell them that, when they see the way out of Bitcoin, that's when normal, real people get excited, because then there is real utility for this. And this is the biggest, best message I can give to all the crypto people listening right now. Forget about Bitcoin as an investment. Forget about it as a speculative asset for rich kids to play with. Think of it as a means of exchange. Think of Bitcoin as a clearing layer, a magical people-powered clearing layer for all the world's money in whatever form it may be in. This is not how we were all sold the Bitcoin story in the beginning, but believe me when I tell you, this is the killer app of Bitcoin. We don't need to be able to use Bitcoin to buy some coffee at Starbucks. We can use it to move money around the world, and then people can buy the coffee with their own currency wherever they might be. Bitcoin will solve the problem of international settlements. This is what Ripple is trying to do.
Right.
But we're doing it not just across the banking system, but literally across every financial network on the planet, because we can support every financial network on the planet. Only a people-powered marketplace can do that. Ultimately, Bitcoin is exactly what we need to complete the peer-to-peer revolution that started with Craigslist, Airbnb, Uber, Udemy, and now there's Paxful building this people chain on top of the blockchain. This is what we need. Bitcoin started as peer-to-peer electronic cash, and that's how this story is going to end. When we forget all the buzzwords, DeFi is great, yes, but remember, we are in the people business. And peer-to-peer is how we are going to change the world. It is changing how the world works every single day.
Love it. So to play devil's advocate, even though it's not my belief, where do stablecoins fall into this? Because they can effectively do the same thing. They can move with the same speed, and they're very similar, and they don't have the volatility where you risk, your money being worth less when it arrives.
Yeah, it's a great question. And the Bitcoin optimalist in me is kind of crying. The maximalist is almost dead. Stablecoins do a better job of serving real use cases than Bitcoin does, and that's the truth. Look, this is a sensitive point, but for me, the reason I care about Bitcoin is because Bitcoin can help people. If something else comes along that can help people better, I'm going to be all about that. Because ultimately, we're not in the money business. We're in the people business, and that's what makes this work. So yes, Paxful will be adding stablecoins to our platform, marketplace, and wallet soon. It should have happened a while ago, actually, but it's going to happen now because the people need it. They've been asking for it, and what we really need is a scalable stablecoin solution overall. And Ethereum is a great network, but I believe it's got some issues handling all that.
Extremely slow. I mean, it's a 1980s computer versus a new iMac, so.
Yeah, so we need to put all our heads together to figure this out, guys. And I'm always like, the best thing I can do, and thank you so much for giving me this platform to reach people, brother. I really appreciate it. You're asking amazing questions. The best thing I can do for this entire industry is really just to kind of beg you all for help, guys. I am shooting up the flare right in the air. Paxful needs the very best talent in the world to make this happen. We cannot do this ourselves. We're 300 people right now. We're completely bootstrapped. That's why we can build schools in Africa and do all this crazy stuff that VCs wouldn't like. And we're going to keep going along that vector. But if you're an amazing product person, if you're an amazing business development person, if you're a love building communities, connecting with people and helping people, and most importantly, not asking for permission to solve the problems that you see, I promise you that every single line of code that you write, every single person that you talk to, every single lick of work that you do, you will get immediate feedback on it because it will be helping real people in real time. None of it will go to waste. This, I promise you.
I seriously want to quit everything I'm doing and come work for you. I'm not even kidding, man. It's very inspiring because it's just not what you hear generally in this community. You know, people view Bitcoin as a means to make more money, or
yeah, which is fine.
No, of course, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't think they're getting the perspective of what you're seeing on the ground.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why we need this message to reach the hearts of the people out there, the real builders out there, all the amazing geniuses that we have running around. Can you imagine if we just got 1% of these uber geniuses and got them with us on the ground, showed them what the problems are, had them building this? We'd move 10 times faster, brother. 10 times faster. Within 5 years,
for sure.
We could talk a golden age, a literal golden age in Africa. It would be the geopolitical achievement of the past of the last 100 years. This is possible.
You know, what's striking me is that we have all the talking heads. I'm probably one of them, but over here, the mainstream media, at least in the crypto space, and we talk about the 2017 bubble and how that hurt retail. And it was like everybody, had this terrible image of Bitcoin. And the biggest thing is it means we can't get mainstream adoption, right? Because people have this negative view of it. And we talk about mainstream adoption as this unicorn, right? What would mainstream adoption be? And in the United States, mainstream adoption, when you talk about it, people are like, well, it means that institutional investors are here and the banks care and Wall Street cares. And I'm realizing talking to you, that's not what mainstream adoption is at all. Mainstream adoption is people using crypto and Bitcoin specifically to improve their lives. And that's not even a narrative, here when we talk about mainstream adoption. I mean, what does mainstream adoption mean to you? And do you think we actually have found it to some degree? Just not here.
Mainstream adoption to me is mama boga out in the boonies. That's a Kenyan term for your mother out in the small villages in Kenya, right? Because when Mama Boga can easily send money straight from her phone anywhere and do whatever she needs to do, that's what mainstream adoption looks like to me. When that happens, when you have all these young people and even their grandmothers able to send money, use money seamlessly, not just domestically, but internationally, when that happens, I promise you, here's what's going to happen. All those, institutional investors, all that big money is going to say, hey, wait a minute, this Bitcoin thing is actually getting real use right now. It's not just a speculative asset. Then they're going to come in. But that is our path. And that's why it hasn't been done before, because everyone is chasing this pie in the sky, big money up here, these rich old men. But what about these 4 billion humans over here that have been desperate for any help whatsoever? If you've got the balls, if you've got the thick skin, if you've got the heart to dive in and meet those people and work with them, I promise you it'll be rough. It's been very rough for us here at Paxful. We've had immense challenges, everything from KYC to fraud to AML to juggling regulations with Uncle Sam. As hard as that has all been, I have 2 Nigerian scam groups, one of them called the Black Axe. They actually want me dead. They have a hit out on me. This is the truth. So what? If you have the balls to suffer through this, I promise you, everything else will fall into place. This is something I tried to tell the Ethereum guys. Hey, I know you want this big money, but let's forget about this. We could really use all you brainiacs over here. Help us out.
That's dope.